Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Got a special guest on tonight, Greg Ball, to talk about tainted blood and what's happened with CSL. So it's a big one, bit of a whistleblower here. This is actually one of the victims of it. We already had Charles McKenzie on the other week to talk about it and let you guys know what had happened. Greg Ball's one of the victims. This guy has been unwell due to this tainted blood from CSL and the worldwide scandal that happened back in the 80s, early 80s, mid 80s through to the 90s. So we're going to get him on for a chat. We're going to talk a little bit about Jane Holton and all her conflicts of interest. And we'll get him on as soon as he gets through. And please share this out to as many people as you can. People aren't able to see our posts at the moment, so we need you guys to share them out as much as possible. Hit the little aeroplane and share it out to all your friends. We'll get as many people in here as we can. And then we'll have a big chat about it. I hope you're doing really well. Hope everyone's had a good day today. First, I'll talk to you guys about one thing. The Millions Rise for Australia group has disappeared. But they've got a new group. They had a backup group. It's called the Millions Unite for Australia. Please write that down. Millions Unite for Australia. I'll put it here so you guys don't miss it. Millions Unite for Australia. That's their backup group. There you go. So Millions Unite for Australia is where you can go and have a look. That's their new page. That's their backup page. So yeah, jump on there. They've had that going for a little while because they knew this was going to happen. So jump onto the Millions Unite for Australia. Now, let's have a chat. And I'll talk to you guys as well. And I'll let you know some more information about that at the end. So, Jane Holton. What can we say about Jane Holton? So Jane Holton is the lady that's the puppeteer that's running everything in Australia right now. She is the devil reincarnated. So she has a finger in every pie. She has conflicts of interest. I'll give you some information. She was born on the 4th of January 1960 in England. She moved to Australia in 1973. Her father, Charles Holton, was the head of the Department of Transport under Gough Whitlam. So they were inside. They were part of the Australia's political system for a long time. She has an honours in psychology, which is interesting because of all the psychological fuck-ups right now that are happening around the world. So, honours in psychology. She was the head of the Department of Health from 2002 to 2014. And within that, she was part of everything that was happening with vaccinations as well. Okay? So be aware of that. Head of the Department of Finance from 2014 through to 2016, and part of the ANZ Advisory Board. Okay, guys? Independent chair of COTA. So COTA looks after all of the elderly. So she knows all the facts and figures of our aged care homes by being part of COTA, C-O-T-A. She also brought vaccines into our aged care homes. 2018, she became part of CEPI, the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness, with Bill Gates and Melinda Gates. What the fuck? How many things is she part of? She was at Event 201 as Australia's representative. There you go. Do you see that as well? National COVID-19 Coordinations Panel, she's part of that as well. And lastly, she's now the head of the Hotel Quarantine Inquiry. How many conflicts of interest can you have with one person? This person, Jane Holton, is the puppeteer. She's the one running this whole show. She's the one pushing for CSL. She's the one that's behind everything that's happening. And there's more information here as well. So understand, she's pulling this whole thing along. She's the Bill and Melinda Gates puppet. She's the global preparedness lady. She's the one leading us in to what's the New World Order. I'm going to get all this information tomorrow. I'm going to get research all day tomorrow to find out everything I can because this is Agenda 21. Okay? So understand. Understand there is a lot going on with her, okay? Understand that. Now I'm going to bring on Greg Ball to talk about what happened with him with CSL. So here he comes. Boom. So Greg Ball wouldn't be surprised if they try and censor this conversation. Hello. How are you, Greg?
Good, thanks, Matt. And yourself?
Yeah, great, thanks. Really nice to meet you. Heard a lot
You
about
too.
you from Charles, of course, and had to get you on here to have a chat. And we've got quite a few people here, nearly 300, which is beautiful, just to have a listen. And I'll record this and put it up later on as well. I thought the best thing to do is to let you introduce yourself and let us know your story.
Yeah, mate, it's a hard one to tell, but you can only start at the beginning. And the best way to tell it is with the treatment we first received. And fortunately, 4 years after I was born, there was a treatment called cryoprecipitate. And that came from one or two donors, is all it took to make that bag of cryoprecipitate. And that was what we were treated with, and very successfully right through my adolescence. I mean, I lost an eye, I had an eye removed, I had broken bones, I had stitches inside and out. You know, same as everyone else growing up. Now, there's a bit of a myth about bleeding and haemophilia, and you know, you scratch yourself and you can die. Well, that's obviously not true. It's it's quite manageable, haemophilia, and so anyway, we were treated with this product and got through to 24 years old. I was in 1984, and they switched us over to this new wonder drug product that CSL had produced. And we don't know if Australia approached the UK or the UK approached Australia, but the UK had been using this for 4 years previous to us, and we somehow got the the mix for it, and we started producing it here. And everyone was aware that there was hepatitis in this, because to make this new product, it went from 1 or 2 donors for cryo to between 3,000 and 15,000 donors to produce a batch of freeze-dried factor 8. Now, I think in the first 24 years, I'd already proven that, you know, I'd managed to look after myself, and the older you got, the more mature you became, and the easier it was to do that. And so, you know, we weren't requiring any major surgeries or anything at that time. And this new drug, I mean, there was also a slight risk of hepatitis in blood with the 1 or 2 donors, because blood is not 100% guaranteed. You go to the hospital tomorrow, it's not 100% guaranteed you're getting a pure disease-free blood. So they didn't really tell us about that, you know, when I was younger, and even my parents, when I was under their care, we weren't told about these risks. And then in 1984, when the new one came out, again, we weren't informed that, you know, this donor pool had just increased so massively. And then, you know, that goes on to pooling of blood to make these products, which we then started pooling from Southeast Asia. I mean, CSL is the only fractionator in the South Pacific region. So we started fractionating for Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, New Guinea, places where hepatitis C was endemic. They didn't bother testing over there because most of the population had it. And we started pooling this with our own, and they were still sending that overseas as well. But, you know, they've also sourced foreign blood. CSL has outlets in America where they source foreign plasma. You know, we don't know what they do with it because there's no regulation on CSL. It was a government agency until 1993, I think it was, when it was conveniently sold. You know, it's turned into Australia's largest company. And what do they sell? They sell blood. I mean, that doesn't sound right to me. And again, here we are, we're about to trust a company that won't answer my questions, 1,400 of us actually, plus that's just haemophiliacs, plus transfused patients then who also acquired hepatitis. They won't answer any of us. In Queensland, I can't sue anyone because the Queensland government indemnified them. So, you know, you'd have to have a lot of money to try and take on the government a couple of people have tried and failed. Our only hope is a royal commission. The United Kingdom has an infected blood inquiry going on at the moment. Starts up again on the 20th of September. We want the same here in Australia to work out where this all started. And as I say, they were aware of this hepatitis in the blood. And it doesn't matter if it was called non-A, non-B or C. It doesn't matter. It was a hepatitis they were aware of since 1970. So what I need people to go to Infected Blood Australia, the website, and fill out the form, sign the Royal Commission, calling for a Royal Commission. And if we can get those signatures on, they can't ignore it anymore. I mean, this has gone on basically from the time I was 24. By the time I was 37, I was done. I was that sick. And, you know, that just went on. After that, they gave me a couple of doses of interferon to try and get rid of the disease. Well, interferon is the last thing you should be given anyone with any liver problems whatsoever. You know,
because that's going to be cancer or something like that, isn't it?
I've had cancer for the 3rd time now. That's a whole new story, Matt, which I hope we can talk about again. I've had a lot of success on my own without the assistance of the hospital with cannabis oil. And again, Infected Blood Australia and some friends in Melbourne and Sydney they're getting a site ready that we're going to announce that on when I get the full confirmation. But I'm 80% there on the way to healing, and we have had confirmation of that. So
good news, at least some good news.
Yes, it is very good news. But even better if we can get these this petition signed, Matt, and appreciate your help in doing so, because we've tried for a long time. I mean, I've written so many letters to so many different prime ministers. This has gone on since Bob Hawke and Paul Keating. You know, they were the first to cover this up.
It's so corrupt. The cover-ups are so bad. Like, I'm a researcher, and I couldn't find any information on it anywhere. Even the UK stuff was hard to find. And from what I've heard, since I've heard it from you guys, I've dug even deeper. And once I get into the 10th page of DuckDuckGo or one of those sites, I can find information. And I can see all the newspapers and everything else. So what I've promised to Charles earlier and now to yourself is I'm not going to let this rest. We're going to put the links for this in after this video today. We'll put the links in our link tree, which means people can just swipe up and go straight to it. As well as that, I've got a lawyer that I'm trying to get on board with us to help you guys. If we need to do any kind of GoFundMes or whatever else, we're going to put it in front of the news as much as we possibly can. We've got some outlets that are happy to try and get this out there to the world, particularly right now where it's happening in the UK too. So we won't let you down. We're going to keep pushing this as hard as we can, because I think it's a story that needs to be told. So 1,400 people died from this tainted blood that we know of, but so many people have been so unwell throughout their lives.
Look, there could be as little as 50 left. I'm not sure. Actually, they don't tell us the figures. If we have the figures, we can put it all together. They don't produce figures anywhere in Australia of how many of us have died and why we've died. You know, they're about to plant a tree in Queensland in remembrance of haemophiliac or the bleeding disorder, but they're not going to state how they died. You know? We're not dying from a bleeding disorder.
No, that's it. That's exactly right.
We're dying from hepatitis, which came from CSL. And if you ask me, you know, am I going to take this new vaccine? There's no way I'm touching it. You know, if they answer my question first about the last treatment they gave me.
Yeah, and I think the same thing, like the corruption levels here, the cover-ups, the fact that CSL's had, I've read about 5 or 6 different times where they've stuffed up and it's just been covered up. And there's so much money in this company. And I think you're so brave coming out and talking about it. And I think, you know, we will promise you, the family and the group that we've got here, we will not let you down. We're going to fight for you guys as hard as we can. We'll get it out to as many people as possible. I've made it my own personal goal as part of this. Like, for me, it's all about shutting down vaccines and, you know, all these things. But I have a special place for you guys. I think that the fact you've suffered so long and you haven't had that voice, we're going to be as loud as we can for you.
And there could be so many more, like I said, transfused patients as well. There's still people in Australia who don't know they've got hepatitis.
Yeah.
You know, marriages have broken up because people haven't been able to cope with how their lives have changed.
Yeah.
And the story's untold. Yeah, it's frightening to think. You know, some of the stories I've heard in the UK inquiry now, exactly the same as what I've heard here in Australia.
Yeah. Are you part of the UK inquiry? Will you be talking as part of that, or not at this stage?
With Infected Blood Australia, we will be.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Well, we'll have to do something right before that, because that's in September. We'll make sure we get you and Charles maybe back on a live for a bit of a chat. We'll see if we can do some kind of live stream, you know, of what you guys do or whatever else, and we'll get it out there in front of as many people as possible. How are you doing at the moment, health-wise? You doing okay?
Yeah, as I said, mate, now that I did start a couple of weeks of radiation treatment, and it just rocked me again. Like I said, I've been through a few, the interferon and all that, and the final treatment I had, remdesivir, I think it was, that actually cleared the virus for me, you know, which was a great thing as well, but the damage was done. I'd had it for 30 years, you know. There's no reversing. It doesn't just repair itself, so.
Yeah. I think you're a warrior. I think I see the people putting the swords up everywhere, and I think, you know, it's very apt for what you guys have done, the strength and the power that you've had to sort of fight on through all this. It won't be forgotten. None of these people that have passed away through this are going to be forgotten now. We're going to make sure, you know, some kind of legacy is left behind, and this company has to pay for what they've done. It doesn't have to be monetary, but we need to stop them moving forwards with this corruption and moving into, you know, the vaccine industry and, you know, trying to force that upon people as well. So I just wanted to say thank you for being so brave and coming on here and having a chat, and we'll make sure we shoot people over the side as well.
And don't forget, they've already been indemnified for this new vaccine. So CSL, it won't cost, if it goes wrong, it won't cost them anything.
That's right, and that's why we need to get on the front.
Government, just like we have for the last 30 years.
Yeah, we've got to get on the front foot right now, and I think we've got a groundswell of emotion, and we've got a lot of very informed and educated people, not just following our page, but behind us all around Australia right now. So this is the perfect time to get this out there. So again, thank you so much for coming on, and we'll give it a really big push for you right now.
Great. Thanks very much, mate. Appreciate it. Infected Blood Australia. Sign that petition for us, guys.
Yep, we'll get them on. Thanks, Greg. Love you, man.
Thanks, mate. See you, mate.
Bye. So there you go, Greg Ball. That's pretty amazing. I think I'm going to go over there now. I'm going to put this up into my feed, and I want you guys all to get on there and sign it and to share it. Share this out to as many people as possible, and do it with love, peace, and kindness. And let's get this out there to as many people in the world as we can, because this is a story that needs to be told. Okay, guys. Love you all. I'll get going, and I'll get this up into my IMG TV or whatever it's called. And please share it out to as many people as possible. Peace.